tire down and he just let the front end of the car simply get down on the racetrack. We saw a lot of sparks, but that's what it was. You're going to see a lot of cut tires here because of the pavement tearing up.
You see the gap now. Here's Chuck Bound working out of turn 4 as it looks like Jeff Gordon has problems again in the Carolina Ford dealer's Thunderbird. That 4th turn has been miserable for him. He's got a right front tire now down. He'll have to make another stop on pit road. 19 years old, Jeff Gordon out of Indiana.
I think the reason that we're seeing all these right side tires go down, in addition to the bumping and banging going on the racetrack, they're now starting to have to move up the racetrack off of that low groove just a little bit. There's a lot of trash and debris up there. They're running over stuff cutting these tires.
And also, Goodyear brought a different right side compound than they have ever run here before. It actually has a little bit less tire tread. It is thinner rubber. The reason for that being to keep the tire temperatures down, because they are always concerned about great traction on a new track building of too much temperature, either blistering or blowing out tires.
That's a good point, Mark. And what they've done, you see now Gordon is finally making his way into pit road. It took him 2 laps around the racetrack before he could get into pit road because of the extreme amount of heavy traffic.
After Steve Grissom bottled up the pack, Kenny Wallace was forced to dodge him and lost about 20 car lengths to Chuck Bound. He has made up all that daylight as we see Jeff Gordon's crew going to work on the right side of his race car. Wallace has caught Bound, and it appears the back end of Bound's race car not behaving as well as he'd like it to, and Kenny Wallace is right there ramming and jamming looking for the top spot.
I think Chuck's car is getting a little loose, and as he runs 10, 15 laps under green, it really starts to go away from him. You can see that when Grissom was leading, and now you're exactly right, Mark. Kenny Wallace is really putting the pressure on him. And right behind Wallace is car number 79, Resendez, and behind him is Steve Grissom trying to make up a lap.
And those 2 cars are both on pressure tires. They've come onto pit road. As you see, Steve Grissom now with those new right side tires blowing past the Dave Resendez. And we have trouble coming off of turn 4. Ward Burton is in the wall.
Steve Grissom tried to dive underneath Chuck Bound at the start-finish line to get a lap back. Wasn't able to do it.
He didn't quite make it that time, but I'll guarantee you with those fresh right side tires on, he's going to pull up in the outside lane on the restart. And when they throw the green flag, he will be able to make up one of those laps.
And that's caution number 7 here at South Boston. We'll be back with more Yellow Fever in just a moment. Well, the top 5 show Chuck Bound, our race leader, with Kenny Wallace 2nd, Bobby Dowder 3rd, Troy Beebe 4th, and Jeff Burton, the local favorite, has moved up to 5th, but his brother's day is pretty much over, and here's the reason why.
You see the car come off the corner. Watch for the blue car. He's going to, there he comes, and he smacks that wall real hard. He completely flattened the right side of that car, so he is definitely out for today.
All the wrestlers on the Worldwide Wrestling Federation would have liked that body slam. That was a solid shot to the right side.
Yeah, there wasn't anything fake about that one either. not to say that wrestling is.
Oh, no telling.
We'll be back with more here from South Boston momentarily. It's a great day to have the concession for the wreckers or for sheet metal, and Bill Hennessy's got a story on pit road about all the problems that these drivers are having.
Okay, Mike Hillman, you're the crew chief on the Steve Grissom car. The problem, he came in with a flat tire. There was some worry about it being cut. What was the problem? Well, looks like he ran over one of the rocks where the racetrack's coming apart out there, Bill. But riding very over, Bill's running awful good. Steve's confident he's going to get a couple of them laps back and still come to the front. Okay, take a quick look at the tire here, and what we have is you think that cut mark is what made it go down. It wasn't. There was a puncture all the way through the tire right here. So we just punctured it with a little piece of plastic to show you how soft the tire is.
And the green flag is back out with Chuck Bound up front, and Grissom now working desperately trying to get that lap back. The 2nd place car in the race is the black number 36. That's Kenny Wallace. On the outside of him is Dave Resendez, who is also a lapped car.
You're seeing a lot of pressure now being put on Bound to keep those lap cars behind him. Steve Grissom in 31 is 2 laps down. He's going to get that lap back pretty soon because he's got fresher right side tires.
Is that a good move by Bound to try to race a car that obviously is on better rubber right now?
Well, I'm sure that Chuck is feeling that he can hold him off right now, but not for long. Steve's getting under him every time they come off the corner. I don't think that he should be racing right now. I think he should just let him go. They've got over 190 laps of racing left, and you can't worry about a guy that's 2 laps down right now.
And as you can see, all sorts of pressure being applied by Steve Grissom as he is trying to do everything under his power short of giving Chuck Bound a real good nudge to get back into the lead lap.
This kind of racing between these two drivers is nothing new. In Pulaski, Virginia last year, Bound and Grissom went at it. Grissom eventually won the race, but not after they had both delivered a lot of physical abuse to each other's race cars. They drove each other clean. They didn't spin each other out, but they certainly put some contact on each other.
Well, you got two of the cleanest driving guys in the sport right there, Mark, and I can't say enough about either one of them. I think the world of both guys, and they are certainly clean competitors. On the monitor now, you see car 9 Troy Beebe and 99 Jeff Burton.
And that is the battle for fourth place. Right behind them is Todd Bodine, and then the winner of last week's race, David Green, in the black number 8.
Bodine is driving a car that he has raced every event except Daytona. They call it the Scud because they never know where it's going to hit next.
Well, right now the Scud's doing a pretty good job. I've been impressed with Beebe. This is one of the few times that I've been able to see him race, and not having any experience on these tracks. That's the driver of car number 9. He's doing a terrific job out there right now.
And that's the race leader in car 63, Chuck Bound. We mentioned, Mark, a moment ago, a point that we'd like to elaborate on just a little bit here. When we talked about Pulaski last year, yes, they did lean on each other, but I think everyone was impressed in the final 50 laps of that race how clean Chuck Bound in second place drove Steve Grissom.
Well, at the time, Steve Bird was Steve Grissom's crew chief. He was hopping up and down with NASCAR. Tell Chuck Bound to lay off my driver. Tell him to leave him alone. And as soon as Steve Grissom got out of the race car after winning, after Chuck Bound had laid about 50 jabs on his rear bumper, Grissom said, I want to thank Chuck Bound for driving me clean because he could have spun me out and wrecked me.
And we have caution on the Speedway. Once again, caution number 9. And we are 128 laps into this race. Folks, we are on a record pace for cautions if this keeps up, as Troy Beebe's car number 9 going through turn 2 appears to be part of the reason, at least, for this latest caution. There is what is left of his rear bumper being held on by glue. And we'll be back with more action from a wild Carquest Auto Parts 300 after this.